As scripts start to get larger, they will tend to get more complicated, so you should add notes to the code to explain what it does and how the parts of it work. This is useful both for other people working with your code and for yourself if you come back to it after a while and have forgotten how some of the tricky parts work. You can do this with comments, which are specially marked pieces of text in your code that MaxScript otherwise ignores. Here's the tool again with comments added. There are two ways to write them. Multiple line comments, like these at the front, are delimited by an opening /* and a closing */. Normally you'd put a title and some driving instructions up here. The second way is to prefix some text with a double dash, like these, scattered throughout. The text after the double dash up to the end of the line is ignored by MaxScript. So you can put them on lines by themselves, like these, or tagged onto the end of a line of code, like this. Generally, you should try to put a comment before each largish chunk of code to briefly summarize what it's doing and explain any really tricky stuff. Another thing to notice is that I've used indentation in the script to help me see the structure of the code. Here to show the body of the rollout definition, here to show the body of the event handler, and again to show the body of the for loop. Although you can lay out code pretty much any way you like, it is strongly recommended you use indentation like this to show structure, as it really helps to understand the code relationships and control flow. Neither commenting nor indenting are required to make your script work, but they are just about essential, particularly when someone else needs to read it, or you come back to it after a while to make some changes. Badly formatted and uncommented code is often jokingly called write-only code, but it's usually no joke when you are trying to tweak such a script for some critical project. The MaxScript Listener and Editor windows have a number of tools to help indenting. As you type code, you can hit the Tab key to indent at 4-character intervals, which is the indent I use in all the examples here. The windows automatically maintain this indentation as you type subsequent lines, and when you want to drop back out a level, just delete the tab. You can also indent and unindent blocks of code by selecting them and hitting the tab to indent, like this, or Shift-Tab to unindent. Each tab moves the code one tab level in or out, as you can see. As you look through the MaxScript online documentation, you'll notice just about everywhere the use of syntax rules, like this one on the if expression page. These are similar to grammar rules in English and define the valid patterns for each of the kinds of statements and expressions you can write in MaxScript. I want to explain briefly now how to read these rules and begin to use them as I present more of MaxScript. Let's look at the if rules. As you see, the rules for if statements are pretty simple. Having two lines like this means there are two alternative forms you can use. The first rule says, an if statement starts with the word if, followed by an expression, followed by then, followed by another expression, and optionally followed by else, and then another expression. The second line says, an if expression can be written alternatively as an if, followed by an expression, followed by do, and followed by another expression. Anything in bold must be written as is, in this case the reserved words if, then, else, and do. Clauses inside square brackets are optional. You can leave them out if you want. The terms inside angle brackets are descriptive of what you can write in their place, and are often defined in other syntax rules. For example, if we go to the expression page in the help, you see that expr is defined down here. It's actually just a general name for all the different kinds of expressions and statements we can write. So allowing expr in these places in this if rule means you can write any valid MaxScript expression following the words if, or then, or do, or else. Now, the syntax rule by itself doesn't tell the whole story. You need more explanation to let you know that the expression after the if is the test, and the others are the then and else branches, and generally that is what is explained in detail following the syntax rule. There are several conventions used in these rules that I will quickly describe now. Anything in bold is written as shown. An angle bracketed name can be replaced by anything that the named rule defines. Things inside square brackets are optional. Things separated by vertical bars are choices. Choose just one of them. Things inside curly braces can be repeated any number of times, including 0, so they're optional. If there's a plus after the closing curly, they're not optional and can be repeated one or more times. The funny double colon equal sign gives a name to a rule. Here's a quick example showing most of these. A number is defined to be an optional leading minus sign, followed by 0 or more digits, followed optionally by a dot, and then 1 or more digits. A digit is defined to be any of the characters 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, and so on. These conventions and the syntax rules for all of MaxScript are detailed in the MaxScript grammar topic in the MaxScript help.